Coming up next on Sports Central, we have the best of the best. Gene Engle with the Orange Cup Regatta, Michael Mink with the Lakeland Raiders, and two special celebrities, Emilie McKee and Anna Bostick, talking about Light Up the Night 5K. Stick around, everybody, for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Mr. Neil Duncan, my co-host. Neil, it's great to see you as always.
Yeah, ready for another edition of Sports Central. It's a great thing about Polk County. There's never, we always have events. We've always got great people to talk to. I'm excited about this episode.
You know, one of the things we also have that's great?
So our corporate partners that make this show possible, and the segment brought to us by People's Barbecue right there in Auburndale. Great tourism sports marketing partner.
Kind of just made me hungry thinking about People's Barbecue.
I know, let's get through this so we can go eat.
Yeah, I think Dale wants us to enjoy some of his goodies today. Well, everybody, the running sport's obviously one of the hottest trends across the country, if you will. Everything from 5Ks to 5K walks, marathons, phenomenal. Polk County? Yes, a hotbed here in the state of Florida. We have a lot of them, but we have some very prestigious ones. One of those events is Light Up the Night 5K, presented by the Junior League of Greater
Winter
Haven. Yeah, we'll
Winter
try that
Haven.
again.
Winter Haven.
The People's Barbecue got my tongue so twisted, I just can hardly talk here. Anyway, we have two special young ladies with us, some real talent in their own rights. Anna Bostick, how are you?
Wonderful. Happy to be here today.
Good to see you. And then Emilie McKee. And Emilie McKee, for those of you that are kind of confused, she's sort of a familiar face in Winter Haven and around Polk County. Her dad, Dale Smith, was the former city manager, but she's carrying on the tradition of making our community a better place. And ladies, I guess congratulations to you and the Junior League. Another successful event you have planned, and it's coming up here real quick.
We are super excited. We're getting ready to host our second annual Light Up the Night 5K walk, run, jog, whatever you want to do. Grab your stroller, grab your wagon, whatever. We are so excited. It'll be held on Friday night, February 21st, starting at 6:30 p.m.
6:30, and where is it?
It is in downtown Winter Haven in Central Park.
Okay.
A lot of events. It's not just the run, a lot of activities, family friendly. Tell us about that, kind of go through what people can expect when they come down to the event in downtown Winter Haven.
We're going to have food truck rally after the event. So when folks get there, actually this year we're teaming up with Main Street Winter Haven. You want to talk a little bit about that?
We're so excited to be able to team up with them. They're having at least 15 trucks there. So when someone comes to the event, they can immediately begin enjoying the food trucks, or starting at 6:30, they can join us in our race. And again, like Amy said, every skill level is welcome, so I personally would be walking and be happy that I did that. So walking, jogging, anything. When the race is finished, we can continue on enjoying the food truck rally, and then we'll have beer and wine, band party afterwards. So it's really going to be a lot of fun.
It's a great family event
Definitely.
For everybody.
Well, I know that last year sort of caught you off by surprise because of the numbers.
Yes.
And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, which it always does,
100% of the time.
I got nothing to say.
There's like 400 runners last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we're super excited, and hopefully we'll have over 400 this year, and just
Well, I know one of the things that was really cool last year is all along the way you have these people with like cups and snacks and all sorts of stuff. So if you just want to make it a nice evening out with your your wife, your girlfriend, or both, or your husband or your kids or whatever it may be, you can do that. And it's just really supporting a good cause, because Junior League of Winter Haven, your mission is to give back to the community.
Exactly.
everything that we do, all the proceeds that we raise goes back into our community. We have several different projects that we're doing this year. And if you don't mind, I'll tell you a couple about those. We have the...
I don't mind, Neil might, but that's okay.
We have the Junior League mobile bus, which we're going to start going around to various areas around Polk County and actually be like a food bank, teaming up with Agape Food Ministries and do that.
Is Agape based in Winter Haven?
They're in Lakeland. But they're teaming up with us, so we're really excited about that. And we have teacher mini grants, and we have done in the SNAP projects.
Done in a snap. What is that?
Like if the Salvation Army wants us to come help them get ready for Christmas and get all the toys together, they give us a call and we send members to go help out and do that. And we also have Kids in the Kitchen, which you all are familiar with as well. When we were downtown with our Family Pet Fest, now we have our very own project of Kids in the Kitchen.
Kids in the Kitchen. That's where they have ants on a log.
Exactly.
You know what
That was
ants
one of the
on a
most
log are?
popular ones.
Yeah, I remember talking
And
about
then
it.
there were some other ones. I'm trying to think of the. There's one like with a bug. Not,
Oh
not
yeah,
the-
we made a caterpillar with grapes, and
Yeah.
oh, they're so cute. Now we've paired with Girls Inc., and we're going there once a month and teaching some of the girls some healthy, very affordable, easy snacks that they can make when they get home from school. So we're really trying to promote healthy eating and fight the obesity epidemic
Yeah.
that's happening with children
Moon
in our
pies and
nation.
RC cola. aren't
Yeah,
on the
not so
menu.
much.
Yeah.
We're not really teaching those. So.
This might be the shortest show of Sports Central ever because all this food talk. We might just
I
leave.
know, seriously, it's
Let's
lunchtime.
talk about. We talked a little bit about the activities the Junior League does. Let's talk about who are the individuals in the Junior League and where do they come from and where you guys come from.
Well, we have everyone. I mean, we have, single women, mothers, people who are employed, and I used to work as a substitute teacher at two fabulous local elementary schools, All Saints Academy and St. Joe's Winter Haven, and now I have a 3-month little boy who takes up, most of my day. He's the greatest thing ever, of course, typical mom. So, but I am the
What's
mom.
his name? You got to say.
I've got two. This is baby Mark. So
Baby Mark?
He is a sweet little boy. So.
Oh,
We
okay.
have our own baby, Mark.
Moving right along, Mr. Duncan. I noticed you have a book over here.
We sure do.
And you were talking about projects, and I don't know if who can get a shot of that, but it's called A Splash of Citrus, and it's a project that you undertook.
It's our
and
fundraiser.
It's a
One of our
fundraiser,
major
and
fundraisers here.
you're
and
selling
it's
those
an
books, and
it's a beautiful, beautiful cookbook that members of the league submitted the
Okay.
recipes. We had to taste test them 3 to 5 times, sometimes more than that. Mike Podhas did the beautiful photography here, and it is.
and there's special features about Bach Tower.
Right, local
Great
Polk
pictures
County.
from the old Cypress Gardens. There's sort of a history book and a cookbook.
It is.
I
Exactly.
noticed that, and that's that's a pretty interesting piece. I submitted a recipe for that. Didn't get chosen though. Venison bratwurst and sweet and sour sauerkraut.
Let's talk about some
Maybe
of the
our
good
next-
food that
You didn't like the venison.
yeah.
Hey,
Next
Oh,
edition, we'll do it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the 5K. Go ahead, Neil. You're on a roll here, buddy.
Well, I was just going to, I love to talk about the food, I do,
Yes,
but
yes.
the event itself, how can people get signed up and you talked about all different skill levels are
Right.
welcome. Talk a
Register
little bit more about
online
that.
at active.com, or you can also go to our Junior League website, which is www.jlgwh.com. And you can follow all the links to register online for that.
And I may have missed it talking about the food because now I'm like Mark, it's all in my head. But what is the route? Where are they going to be running? It's downtown.
Downtown
area,
Winter
but-
Haven, it'll be around like Lake Silver and in that type of area. It's the same as the Shamrock run that the library
Okay.
sponsors. It's very similar to that. There's a little bit of construction going on, so things have been tweaked slightly. But and the cool thing about what you were saying earlier about people being around, you'll see all types of Junior League members as well as our family on the corner cheering runners on as you go through the route. I did it last year. I just
Definitely.
walked. But it was really encouraging. You start to think, okay, it's getting a little lonely out here, and then next thing you know, people are cheering you on. So
Right.
it's really encouraging, a lot of fun.
What- Are you going to have? Is the race timed? I mean, do you have the little chips and
We
all
do.
that?
We'll have the chips and
Okay, so
everything.
for the serious runner,
Yes.
that
Definitely.
says, look, I want to better my time,
Sure.
or for those that just say, hey, I just want to go out and have a good time and enjoy the party afterwards, that's great too.
Yeah.
But they will be timed, and
Definitely.
you can work on
You
all
will.
of that.
And there'll
it
be
is-
prizes for the winners too.
Oh, how much does
Yes.
it cost to get in, by the way?
It is $30.
That's it.
Wow.
$30 for individuals, and if you get together a corporate team or a team from your local school, wherever you work,
5 or more?
Exactly, if 5 or more, it's $25.
It's 25.
Exactly.
We could do that. You can
Yeah.
run and I can have the chips. You said there was chips?
Yeah. Snacks, lots of snacks. Do you have ants on a log?
Oh, we're working on
You
it.
never know.
Oh,
We
that
might.
might be a good
Kids in the
thing.
Kitchen might have a
Exactly.
booth down there.
Okay, well, so it is timed, and they come in. They've got the scoreboard there, and all of that type of stuff. The race starts at what time?
6:30.
The race starts at 6:30.
Exactly.
probably everybody will be done by 7:15 or so, somewhere in there, maybe 7:30. And then you have Bandhaven,
Correct.
which is sort of a local favorite. And they'll be performing along with all sorts of other food and 15 food trucks.
At least, yeah.
Wow,
So it
that's
should be.
that's like a lot.
That's the cool
Seriously.
thing with teaming up with Main Street, Winter Haven. They're kind
Need a
of
strong.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Lead
Strength.
strength, yeah.
Yep, they do a great job. In fact, that whole Winter Haven area is just what a change.
It's so exciting.
Oh, it's
so
unbelievable.
exciting. So
You
we're
you
glad
take
to
a
be
look
part
at
of
what's
it.
happening in Lakeland, downtown Lakeland, Lake Wales, Winter Haven. It's just phenomenal. The vibrance and the activity that are going on. But you guys are helping make that happen. That's
Well,
great
thank
stuff
you.
for our
Well,
community.
We're happy
We
to be part of
appreciate
it. So
Yes.
I'm ready to go. Ready to go. One more time. The event is the 21st.
21st of
And
February.
they can go to, what's the website they can go to register?
www.jlgwh.com.
All right.
Well, there's some great stuff, ladies.
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thanks a million. We appreciate you coming on and look forward to seeing you on the 21st. Good time for one and all. Even if you're not a runner, you can walk. If you don't like to walk, you don't like to run, or like Neil, the furthest you run is from the couch
to the refrigerator.
Yeah, couch to the refrigerator.
Got it.
That's okay too, because they do have 15 food trucks. There you go, everybody. Light Up the Night 5K in downtown Winter Haven on the 21st. Check out the Junior League's website, or you can go to centralfloridasports.com for more information. Wow, that's great stuff, and giving back to the community. It's a fundraiser, so the entire community benefits at the end of the day, or 365 days a year.
And we've got another, our next segment is going to be an event that's been benefiting the Polk County community for a long time. And actually, we're going to see a package from last year's event before we get Mr. Gene Engle in.
Oh, that is this event. If you haven't ever been to the Orange Cup Regatta, which is the longest running boat race in the state of Florida, very prestigious, boats coming from all over the country, and including Canada, and I believe there's some international boats coming this year as well. This is a tremendous opportunity to take the family down. It's a totally free event. Check the action out, and we'll have Gene Engle back when we come back. Stick around.
This is our 75th anniversary, the 75th running. Best of our knowledge, this is the second oldest athletic event in Polk County, only to the Detroit Tigers spring training. The racers like to come here because of the venue. They really enjoy being on Lake Hollingsworth. It has such a legacy of 75 years, and they enjoy being a part of it. Lake Hollingsworth is known as the Lake of Records. There have been more world records broken than any other country. The race that's going on behind me right this very moment is what we call the Jersey Skiffs, and they kind of bounce all over the course. So you sometimes wonder how in the world they can drive them in a straight line, but the fans love them, even the boat racers love them, so it's a lot of fun.
I've been racing tunnel boats for 10 years now all over the country. We go from Seattle to Michigan to Tennessee, Texas. We've raced here for the last 10 years. It's something we don't miss. My boat's an SST 200. It's a tunnel boat. It runs under the OPC class. We race at 120 mile an hour. We'll average 100 mile an hour around the course. We'll go through the corners at 4 Gs. We won't go below 100 miles an hour in the corners. We're fully encapsulated. I've got air system on it. It's a Mercury 2.5 fuel injected, oil injected motor. And you're looking to get into one of these between $80,000 and $90,000. I live in Lakeland, so I come to Orange Cup Regatta because, one, I live here, I'm trying to support the community, and two, it's the second longest race in the United States. We know a lot of people out here. It's a big family to us, so all of our family's here. The site's beautiful. The Lake Collinsworth area is beautiful. The fans are coming out to watch us, so we're having a good time.
We started running the Orange Cup Regatta probably about, I think this is our 15th year here. Me and my husband both race. He started it, got me into it, and we really enjoy it. I'm the first woman to hold the Orange Cup Regatta, which you get a big trophy and you get to take it home and look at it for a year, and then it continues. You bring it back and then somebody else uses it. I run in the SST 60 class, which is a 60 horsepower stock engine. Whenever I come out of the race, I have to weigh at least 825 pounds. If I'm a pound less, I get DQ'd.
It brings spectators from all over the country also. It's just a great event. It's very family oriented. The families enjoy it. We have a lot of people that are parked around the lake right now watching the race. So we encourage everybody to please come down and come to the lake, enjoy yourself.
Everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Lots of action out on Lake Hollingsworth. With us, Mr. Duncan, if you wouldn't mind, we have a special...
Yeah, absolutely. This segment brought to us by the Best Western in Auburndale. Great property there, close to the Lake Merle Sports Park.
You know, MJ is not quite as smooth as he should be today, and it's...
Well, but luckily for you, we have a very smooth individual on the show with us now,
Yeah.
Mr. Gene Engle.
Well, he is Mr. Smooth.
We're probably not going to be required for this segment because he knows more about this event than anybody. So as long as we don't mess it up, I think we'll be good.
Well, you got to talk. Sort of a nice segue would be touching on the history of this event and what it's meant to Polk County. And in terms of the impact of this event, it's something that sports marketing always looks at, simply because it stimulates the local economy, puts heads in beds, makes cash registers ring. That's all good. But the prestige, the visibility, the credibility that this race has provided, Polk County, it's the longest running race in the state of Florida. It's a very popular event. And, you know, I just can't say enough about, you know, through thick, through thin, good years, bad years, economy and so on and so forth. It's always been there. It's always been there to support our local economy and our citizens. So providing some world-class entertainment as well, everyone. So Gene Engle, many of you know him, and if you don't, you should, because because he puts a lot of time into this race every single year. And Gene, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here and also to be able to talk about the Orange Cup Regatta.
Yeah, we're 76th running of the Orange Cup Regatta, and how does a race like this have such longevity here in the county?
Well, I think that a lot of it has to do with the venue. It's open to the public, and it's free. There's no cost involved. It's got great viewing areas around the lake. And I think the longevity has a lot to do with the legacy of it, and when it was started so many years ago. Kind of interesting, just recently in the Ledger newspaper was an article about Al Lodwick and how the Lodwick Airport, where now Marchant Stadium is located, and Al Lodwick was a very close personal friend with Howard Hughes. And he lived right across the street from us, and so I grew up knowing him. And he raced every year, and he had a boat that was the darndest thing you've ever seen. It wouldn't just run straight; it leaped. And the poor driver, Charlie Pierce, I'm surprised he didn't have brain concussions. But it goes back to this. It's just a lot of long history of the race, and I think that's perhaps what keeps it going.
You know, Gene, one of the things that that circulates around the boat racing world is, and has for years, is that Lake Hollingsworth is the lake of records.
Right.
I think that's the correct term, and at least that I recall.
Right.
And there's good reason for it. It's, you know, you're talking about great viewing, but for the drivers, it's a great venue as well.
Well, it really is, Mark. Of course, every now and then Mother Nature kind of interferes with us a little bit, and we're at her mercy.
Yeah.
But when conditions are right, and we do run for records on the lake in most classes. Now the tunnel boats, or what we call the OPCs, they run for points and not necessarily for records. They run a complete different course. But because of the way it lays into there with the high ridges around the lake, it helps as far as our wind conditions in many cases. So.
We're talking about the 76th running of the Orange Cup Regatta, but how many years has it been on Lake Hollingsworth? It's been there most of this run.
No,
right?
actually it started on Lake Hollingsworth and it's still on Lake Hollingsworth.
It's been there the entire time?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so all 76
and
years.
we have thought many times, because it continues to grow and get bigger and bigger, and we do have room restraints now because it's getting so popular. And the other thing is that we're going from the smaller boats to the larger boats, and they have larger rigs. I mean, when they come in, they come in semi-trailers with a full working shop inside. So it does take up a lot of room, and we've talked about perhaps relocating it. But the beauty of Lake Hollingsworth is it pretty well maintains its depths. And so many of our lakes fluctuate a lot, and therefore they're not very dependable, because we have to start planning out way out ahead. So,
Well, you know, talking about the race itself, and you know, no secret that my favorite competition are the Jersey skiffs. They're a gas. They're like the clowns of boat racing, but it's serious, real serious stuff. And in the video that we saw a little bit earlier, Gene, we saw a GoPro camera that our great PGTV crew hooked up on one of the boats underneath the tunnel. And I guess it's a long way of saying that, you know, you're talking about wind impacting these boats, particularly when they're going, what, 90, 100 miles an hour, some of them?
And faster. And they're very aerodynamically designed. They have a fin on the front that actually can be controlled from the cockpit area, so that they can adjust it depending on the wind and where it is. Sometimes you have great running going down one stretch of the course, but coming back the other way, you may have wind in your face, and this way they can lower the nose and raise and lower it. So there's a lot of engineering goes into these boats. And maybe while we're on that subject, you know, most of the boats that we're running today are capsule. They sit in an enclosed capsule.
Where the drivers...
Right.
Okay.
And they actually, we do capsule training in the pool there at the Lakeland Yacht Club. And we have to have divers on the course at all times with EMS backgrounds and talent. And just in the case, if one of them blows upside down, then we can be able to get to them very quickly, but they all have oxygen on. And if in the event that if they're knocked out or for any reason, or their oxygen doesn't work, we can also plug into the side of their boat with our own external oxygen and pump oxygen into them until we can get them out. Safety is probably one of the most foremost things on our mind. And fortunately, in 75 years, we've only had one fatality, and that was a very freak accident that happened. So we have, even our ambulance boat has hydraulics on it, so that if somebody, we can slide a bodyboard underneath them and never leave the water, get a neck brace on them, and hydraulically lift them up out of the water so that we don't move them. And so it's quite, there's a lot more going on than just the boats running around on a race course. So,
well, you talk about the boats themselves and how advanced they are probably from the beginning, but how many boats are we talking about? How many classifications are there?
Well, right now we're running about 16 different classes, and what we're doing is we're continuing each year to go to the larger boats, which fortunately also can handle a little rougher weather. So
you're not as impacted with the weather, maybe.
But we still run what we call the kneel downs for the younger drivers, and they're very competitive. And so we still run those, but by and large, we're going to the larger boats, and it makes it a little bit better.
Well, it's more than just the driver, though. You know, you're talking about semi trucks coming in, dropping these things off. You're talking about crews, anywhere from what, like 5 to 10 people in a crew.
And they bring a complete crew with them, and it's so that it does, as you mentioned earlier, Mark. It does create a lot of room nights, and we used to try to do a barbecue or something to that order, and they would prefer to get out and be a part of Lakeland and Polk County, which is obviously very good for us. So.
Oh, I know that they enjoy the fellowship after the races are over in some of our local establishments.
Oh yeah.
But and we're certainly glad to have them. You know, these are people coming from all over the country, all over the world, coming to Lakeland and enjoying it. And of course, the weather at that time is absolutely perfect. Speaking of weather at that time, what are the dates this year?
Well, the dates, we're going to start testing on February the 28th, which is Friday.
Friday, okay.
And we've established the first weekend of March as the date, so that we know exactly when it's going to be next year and the next year and the next year.
Doesn't that sort of kick off the season for a lot of these guys?
It does, because a lot of, particularly the inboards, are coming from mostly up in the north. We actually have them coming in from California this time. I heard you mention earlier Canada. And you can tell that the recession is over, because we're going to have a lot more boats this year than we've had in the past year or two, which is really exciting.
So Friday is the testing.
Right, and then we will start racing then on March 1st, which is Saturday.
Okay.
And then on Sunday. And one of the reasons they like to come here is each Saturday and Sunday are 2 different races. And so they get twice the number of points, and they race for points for the whole year. And at the end of the year, then whoever has the most points, of course, win the championships in those classes. So they like coming here because we do 2 races in one weekend, which is quite challenging, I might add. And every now and then we run out of daylight.
But it's also good for Polk County for the economic impact, because they have to stay here longer.
So
it's a win-win for everybody.
And this year, unique, a lot of them are coming to make this their vacation.
Well, Gene, one real quick question before we let you go and head into break. But you know, the event itself, a lot of people are unaware that it's sanctioned by the APBA, which is the American Powerboat Association. Which is the governing body of boat racing in this country. And this race is governed, and you're talking about points, and those are the points that go towards the end of the year. Okay. So you're going to see some of the best drivers on the planet, some of the hottest boats on the planet. And I have to tell you, if you haven't been to this, you got to go. Take the whole family, because there's great food, lots of fun, some superb action, even though the focus is on safety. It can get exciting.
Well, they all challenge each other pretty good, and it's exciting. And the tunnel boats, the hydroplanes, and then, as you mentioned, the Jersey skiffs, and then we added one new class last year called the SEs, which is what we call flat bottom. And it was so popular that this year they're doubling the number of boats that are going to be here. So it'll be good.
You can take a beating in those. That's for sure. Hey, and just for the record, we got to make sure that the one that does so much of the work for this race, she isn't sitting here right now.
She's working.
She's working. Yeah, that's right. And that's Gene's wife, Pat, who. Talk about a wellspring of information and keeping things organized and running. Well, you've got a crew that doesn't quit.
Well, I've got to say that our race committee, we've been together for a long time, and it was really great. And I have to thank also, of course, sports marketing and the staff at sports marketing, who have been just tremendous help. And every year it gets just better and better. So it takes a lot of time and work away that we don't have to do anymore.
Human class talent, or world class human resources and talent and a world-class race on a world-class lake. So, Gene, thanks so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you real soon.
Well, we'll see you at the lake.
There you go. Well, everybody, you know, there's never a shortage of action, whether it's out on the lake or it's in the arena. And speaking of the arena, the Lakeland Center is host to the 2014 Florida High School Athletics Association State Wrestling Championships. We have some great footage from last year. It'll get you primed up for 2014. Check this out. Mark and Neil, we'll be back. We'll see you in a minute.
Being at the state tournament is a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment. These kids work all summer and they wrestle all year long to be here. And you get to wrestle against kids that they put the same amount of time in, but they're from all over the state, and this is the highest level that we go in a high school organization.
At this level, conditioning is probably the top-notch thing that you have to overcome to get to this point. Folk-style wrestling, which is high school wrestling, is conditioned and based. If your conditioning is not very good, you don't go very far. The technical aspect is certainly very important, but you have to get to the point where your conditioning exceeds what you came in during the season. It takes a special person to wrestle. A lot of our guys get to the point where in the match it's a head-to-head, but because their conditioning is lacking, they a lot of times will give up points, in which it ends up giving up the match. This place is great. Top-notch ran. These guys that are in charge, they know what they're doing. They make everybody that's coming in feel comfortable. We know where we're supposed to be. There's no questions asked. If we do have a question, it's answered pretty quick. These guys are doing a great job.
Lakeland hosting the state tournament is a great deal for us because it's a local centralized place for the whole state, to everybody to come. There's plenty of staff. The referees are always the best in the state here, and you usually get good refereeing, but in any type of sport, you're going to complain about the referees from time to time.
This is a sport where the harder you work, the more successful you are. And a lot of kids get put on the back burner that play football or baseball because they're just not big enough or they're not fast enough. This sport, you don't have to be big enough, you don't have to be fast enough. We have weight classes. It builds your character, because if anybody who's been into a real wrestling room, if you can make it through a 2-hour practice and you can do that the whole year, you're really building your character. Wrestling in the long run is a lot more about being a better man later on down the road. Kids come here and see this high level of wrestling, see the kids that are going off to college. It gives young kids in this area something to shoot for and to build on the next, the following years.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Mr. Neil
Just
Duncan,
keep
my
going,
co-host.
We've said it before. What goes on during the breaks is, well, it's a good thing it's a break.
Yeah.
But this third segment brought to us by Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, great partner, downtown Lakeland.
walk by there, it just smells great. I mean, it's just, I don't know what they use in there, but when it comes out, it's just like, oh my goodness gracious, it's awesome. Great stuff, buddy.
Absolutely.
What do you think of the wrestling? I mean, that's an unbelievable.
That's a hard event to put on. I mean, it is
Let me tell you, it's a
organized
hard-
chaos at best. And Michael Pan and the Lakeland Center and the entire staff, it's one of the reasons that keeps coming back to the Lakeland Center is that staff, because you're going to be hard-pressed to find anyone else in the state of Florida that will put into that event what they do to make it go off, and Don Bridges as well, the Lakeland Championship Committee. It's not an easy event to put on, so kudos to them. It's coming up here shortly next week or so. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the local update, but great event. And then right after that, boys and girls basketball state finals. So
That's some great stuff. Well,
Yeah.
we do have a special guest, and Neil, I know you're a big fan of indoor football, and
Absolutely.
particularly, the Florida Marine Raiders. Changed their name this year, but many of the faces, well, several of the faces, are going to remain the same, including the gentleman to your right.
yeah, head coach Michael Mink. And Coach, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you very
we've
much.
had you in the past, and it's time for another season, and a third season here, another tenant of the Lakeland Center. Tell us what we can expect in this new season.
Well, it's going to be an exciting season. We were in part of a new league called the X League, and there's a lot of rule changes, and for the fans, it's bringing the outdoor game more inside. You're going to have 2 back sets. We're going to have 1 minute to play in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a bonus period. A red ball comes in called the Red Hot, and the points are double. So
Wow.
touchdowns were 12.
So if you're down by 2 scores, you can make it up if you've got the ball.
Like NBA, you like watch the Heat,
Wow.
Spurs, and they're hitting the threes at the end. They scored 7 within 5 seconds or whatever to tie it, and then they end up going overtime, win it, and going to win the next game. So it's going to be a lot of exciting action. I mean, defense can score a point by making a stop, a defensive stop on 4 downs. Defense gets awarded a point.
Is that going to be tough to educate the fans?
We have a fan fest, which is Sunday, and we're going to be passing out rules. We're going to have rules everywhere. They're on the website. We have a new mobile app for the team that's got everything on there. We have a new league mobile app that just got published yesterday on Apple and Google Play. And so we've got a lot of things going on to help educate the fans out there.
We talk about, when you say Sunday, February 9th will be the Fan Fest, and that's going to be at the Lakeland Center. What can fans experience if they go to the Fan Fest?
Oh, they're going to see football drills, live drills by every unit. Your O-line, D-line, your quarterback, receiver, running backs, and then your linebackers, DBs. We're going to have a bouncy house. We're going to have a dunk tank where you can dunk the Pennsylvania Steam and our other opponents. And Neil, we get you in there, throw in there, talk about Mike LePan. Maybe
I think I'm out of town that day.
It's going to be all of our sponsors are going to be there. Giving away things. We're going to have games. We're going to be giving away all kind of different raffles and dinners, and it's just going to be a really fun time. It's free for the fans. You can purchase season tickets there, pick your seat out, new merchandise that's available, with a new team, new name. So it's going to be exciting.
Let's talk about that real quick. What was the reason for changing the name, and how is the branding going to change for you?
Well, the big reason for changing the name was awareness. Number one, we're Polk County's team. We're based in Lakeland, but when you go to a Winter Haven parade and you have Lakeland on your shirt, and the rivalries, when I first came up here a couple years ago, I didn't realize the rivalries from Bartow, Lakeland, Winter Haven, Fort Meade, Arbandale, Mulberry. The kids grow up in Winter Haven and they're playing to beat Lakeland.
Right.
So we're in a Winter Haven parade, a Havendale parade, when Lakeland on, they're booing us. Thinking we're Lakeland, but we're
So it's about survival on multiple fronts.
I mean, Florida Southern's called Florida Southern,
Right.
Southeastern's called Southeastern.
Right.
I mean, Polk City and Polk College is Polk State,
Right.
So I mean, we're a regional team. We're Central Florida's team. We're based in Lakeland, playing at the Lakeland Center, but we're here for the whole community. And we're not pirates, we're the Marine Raiders, and we want to identify ourselves where we represent the U.S. Marine Corps, the lost 4 battalions from World War II, the Marine Raider battalions, and we wear the battalion patch on our jersey. And we wanted to identify that, hey, we're Marine Raiders, we're Marine Corps. We're not pirates, we're not Jolly Roger.
Yeah. Well, this is some, serious stuff, and you've had some pretty serious talent that's actually moved on, mid-season, which kind of puts you in a tough position. What can we expect this year in terms of the makeup of your team?
Oh, the talent you were saying, I did that last night. I was reviewing that. We sent 7 guys up. We sent Josh Long to the Chargers. You know, B.J. Hall went to the Orlando Predators. Tyrese Gaines, D'Angelo Woody to the Storm. Joshua Smith to Milwaukee Iron. LaRoche Jackson to Cleveland Gladiators. And Rod Jefferson, Giants, Jags, and Dolphins camp. You know, so we're moving guys up, and it's just, you know, we got to restock. We're going to have some of the same guys, Jason Harmon, Josh Smith, Adrian Smith, at receiver. We got Octavius Day coming back from the Thunderbolt team, who was the MVP in the championship that year. Reggie Ellis coming in from Mississippi, a local product, another receiver. We got Chris Griffin that played ball at Lakeland at quarterback. Also Maurice Francois from Bethune-Cookman coming in. We also have another guy coming in that were down from Miami, the lefty quarterback. So there are going to be 4 quarterbacks in camp competing for that job. And we got Prince Hall, former all-SEC freshman at University of Alabama, playing linebacker. He's like our Ray Lewis. You know, he's 6'2", 250 pounds that brings the wood. And you're going to see some nice hitting. He's coming in from California, playing in the middle for us. And he's a pure run stopper, threat right in the middle. It's going to be exciting to watch him play.
Now, obviously, you've got some of the positions kind of locked in, but people can still try out for this team, correct?
Yeah, we have final tryouts are going to be at 11 a.m. Sunday before the Fan Fest from 11 to 1. On the
What's the date of
February 9th.
February 9th,
okay.
Last chance to get some local look, you know. We're trying to stay more local, you know.
I don't think these wheels
still got a chance.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah. But you talk about the local flavor. We just had National Signing Day, looking on the football side of things, and again, double-digit numbers going to Division I all the way across the board. How much local talent will you have, and more specifically the Polk County flavor on this team?
Oh, like our team captain, number 5, our heart of our team, Kendrick Stewart. You know, Lakeland, Florida State. You know, he's our man. And we, you know, like you said, Adrian Smith went to Kathleen. You know, we've got a lot of local guys. Chris Griffin went to Lakeland. I mean, a lot of local guys. We're building this team mostly from the Central Florida area. You know, Orlando, Lakeland, Tampa, Winter Haven, Bartow, Fort Meade. You know, so we only have probably about 4 guys from out of state coming in, and you know, and then they'll probably be all, you know, your big guys. You know, your 6'8", 340 offensive linemen. You know, we're going to have a big offensive line this year. We're going to really push the football. And we got some good running backs, you know, that we're looking at. And we're going to run the ball indoors, and we're going to be a very physical ball club this year. We're coaching staff, and which is what I'm happy about, is we're going our 3rd year together. I promoted my wide receivers running back coach to offensive coordinator this year. You've seen me doing that in the last 2 years, but he's going to OC. I'm going back over to the defense, which was my natural spot. So I'll be the defensive coordinator this year. Mikkel Spahn will be the offensive coordinator. Jeff Bingle going 3rd year as our interior coach, and George Terrell, who's a local product, will be doing our athletic ability assistant coach stuff, fill-in guy. So you know, our staff is our 3rd year together. So you know, I'm excited about that. It's the core of the team.
What about the season itself? You know, you're talking about adding some beef on both offensive and defensive lines, and you know, looking obviously for a little more aggressive play, but the season itself, you know, isn't that far away, you know, so you've got a limited time to train these guys. Opening day, when is it?
March 29th. We go to camp on March 6th. March 6th will be check-in day.
Okay.
March 8th will be our first, will be 2-a-days, and we will practice Saturday and Sunday, 2-a-days both days.
Ooh.
And we know it's 21 days.
Yeah.
Hard work. You know, we're starting physical evaluations next week at TBC Fitness. They'll be working there on Wednesday nights on strength testing and agility testing and all that. And it gets starting. You know, start this Fan Fest. You know, it gets real competitive starting now.
We talk about the Fan Fest, but let's talk to that viewer at home that's never been to a Florida Marine Raiders game. What can you expect from the indoor football, and then what can they expect in Lakeland with indoor football?
Well, coming to a game, it's the X League, so you got to do the X. You know, you know, it's gonna be exciting. I mean, the game's gonna start out. You know, the kickoff, the coin toss is out the window. You know, this year we're going to the X dash, and it's 2 guys on their back. You blow the whistle, they pick the ball up, and they sprint to the goal line. You know, the first one across gets 2 points, and you get a choice of either take the ball or defer to the second half. So it's not a coin toss to see who it is. It's going to be athletic performance from the beginning of the game. You know, in overtime, it's the same thing. X dash decides who gets the ball first. You know, and so you got all kind of things happening this year with you within the game that's going to be exciting for the fans. You got our game operations, which has been the last 2 years #1 in the league. So you're going to have the giveaways, the game throws, the footballs going in the stands and keeping them. It's exciting, the music playing. Number 5, Kendrick Stewart dancing on the field, midfield. It's a good time. If you come to a game, you come back. Our problem is we got to get people to the game. We got to get them. They got to see it that one first time, and then they're hooked.
Right. Well, it's exciting, and your 3rd year at the Lakeland Center, as we already mentioned, and we wish you the best of luck. And March 29th will be that first game. I know if you have a website people can go to for information.
Yeah, www.marineraiders.com.
Okay.
And also you can download the our app on Apple or Google, Florida Marine Raiders. Also, you can download the X League app on X League Indoor Football on Apple or Google. Also, we're going to have a YouTube channel. We're going to live stream our games on the road and also at home. We're also on the app. You'll be able to listen to the audio broadcast by Mike Jenkins on our mobile app. So we're going to have live scoring on our website this year on the X League site. So we're on the road or at home, you're going to be able to see updates flashing at all times.
Very good. Well, Coach, good luck to you, and we appreciate your time, and we know we'll have you on here multiple times during the season.
Probably see you on the 29th, if not
right.
before.
That's right, and I appreciate it, and it's always great to be on here.
Okay, appreciate it. Well, everybody, dialing it down just a little bit, we love the world of golf, and Polk County has produced some of the finest golfers in the country, both at the amateur level and at the pro level. Well, we have an up-and-comer from Lakeland High School called Emilie Dyer. And she is talented. She can stroke the ball. Make sure you check this out. More action coming up. Stick around.
I started playing golf when I was a toddler, probably about 3 or 4, picked up my first club. I started playing because it's a very big part of my family. My grandparents as well as my parents play, and so I was always included to tag along as they went to the golf course. My favorite athlete is probably Paula Kramer, because I went to go see her in a tournament and she was definitely the friendliest, and she played very well. My favorite subject is chemistry because I love the challenge and love to problem solve. I think my future is pretty bright, considering that I want to go to FIU for college in Miami to pursue golf, and then eventually do something in the medical career. So, my lowest round was at Shalimar Creek when I shot at 84. I definitely listened to a lot of John Mayer and Dave Matthews, so that's pretty much all. My best friend would probably describe me as very sociable, or very social, very caring, as well as confident. I usually mark my golf ball with my signature, and I include a little heart next to it. I would say that the one word that I would describe myself as is very determined. I know exactly what I want in my future, and I'll make any sacrifices I have to get where I want to be. I usually say a quick prayer, and I do a little stretch routine that is the same every time before I begin, and the same practice swings, and the same, I think about the same thing every time right before I hit the ball.
Welcome back, everybody. Mark Jackson and Neil Duncan. If you're just joining us, shame on you, by the way. But Neil, we've had, we've had some opportunities to interview, to feature some of the best student athletes and best athletes in the country. Of quite frankly, both pro and amateur. And Emilie, wow, what a job she's doing, and right out of Lakeland High School.
Yeah, and we've actually been able to have the athlete spotlights that we've been doing. We've had a number of these athletes just recently named to all-county teams through the Ledger of various services. Like Hope Sanders was named Girls Swimmer of the Year recently, and did a great job there. And I know there's some others there that have done some great things out of the segment.
Well, Derek Peoples was named Boy Swimmer of the Year. We had a nice little feature on them. I mean, I have to hats off to the production crew at PGTV. They put some, and I still call it, way back to Olympic days, you know, up close and personals. And we're right in the middle of the Winter Olympics. It's the end or the start of a quadrennium for the Olympics, Winter Olympic Games, that is, in Sochi, Russia. But talk about talent and world-class talent, Olympic champions right here in Polk County.
Yeah, maybe some of these from these spotlights are going to be on the Olympic team going forward, because if you look at the swimming team, 5 of the 12 swimmers on the girls' first team all-county have been featured right here on Sports Central.
Well, this is the place to be, everybody. Make sure you tell your family, friends, and others that the latest and greatest in sports and up close and personals are right here. Whew.
Well, before we get in trouble, this fourth and final segment is brought to us by Holiday in Winter Haven. We want to make sure we can pay the bills. We don't want to get in trouble, so make sure the show keeps going.
Well, we talked a lot about the, quite a bit last night about the Tournament of Champions, which is being played right now, Neil. The Tournament of Champions is hosted and sanctioned by Senior Softball USA, which is the largest sports organization, softball organization in the country when it comes to senior softball, based out of Sacramento, California. Terry Hennessy and Bill Ruth operate, and talk about an organization buttoned down. 99 teams are here for anywhere from 5 days to 2 weeks. And they're just enjoying the Florida sunshine, but just pumping that money right back into Polk County. We love it.
And it's also important to establish those relationships over years and years and years, because this is a perfect example of a relationship that was fostered many years ago that just continues to grow and bring that economic impact into Polk County. And this is a perfect example with this event and what it means to us in this time of year.
Well, Neil, I'm going to ask you to talk about an event that's coming up. It's a shooting event, but we had the opportunity actually a couple of days ago to talk with the Board of County Commissioners, sort of up close and personal, if you will, as they put together their strategic plan for the next 5 years. And one of the things that they looked at and are very excited about, the shooting sports, and of course the economic impact from all these sporting events coming in. And one of the things that was mentioned is the IPSC, the International Practical Shooting Confederation's World Shoot. It's the Super Bowl of shooting, if you will, being held at Universal Shooting Academy in Frostproof. And what they were very intrigued about, the commissioners that is, was my comment about this being the Olympics of shooting sports, but it also has that Olympic impact. It's something that this commission really understands. They understand for government to operate efficiently and to provide the best services they can, you have to keep an eye on the revenue too. And part of that is from all of these sporting events, and they get it. They understand that importance, and like I said, we're intrigued by that. What does that mean for the next events you're going to talk about and for Polk County overall?
Well, you look at the Universal Shooting Academy and Frank Garcia and the events that, he's been putting on events over the years, but by getting the World Shoot in October of this year, 2014, it seems strange to say this year because we've been talking about it for so long, but there's other events that are going on now that lead up to that, and then you already have these world class shooters coming in to compete in different events because they want to shoot on the same track that they're going to compete for a world championship. One of those events is February 13th through the 16th, the Florida Open. The annual Florida Open pistol shooting tournament is held each February in Frostproof. Over 400 shooters will compete in the 16th annual Florida Open, and it's the largest Florida Open match as competitors prepared for the World Shoot, as I spoke of a minute ago, in October. So they want to get, they want to know the humidity, they want to know the temperature, they want to know how the different bays are, they want to compete. It's no different than Tiger Woods going over and playing the old course before the British Open, getting ready, getting acclimated to that environment. Same thing here. They're coming over, they're already spending the dollars. So it's not just the economic impact in October, and it's the economic impact leading up to it, but then we have the whole world looking at us. They're going to bring a lot of other events after we hit this home run with the World Shoot. So
how many countries? You said the whole world.
When we went to Rhodes, Greece, it was 88 countries there in the room that we
was competitive.
That we had to
These
pitch.
events don't happen.
No,
they have to be recruited.
They have to be recruited, and we had to go to Greece to do that. We were a finalist, and we were able to sell what we are here in Polk County in Central Florida, family friendly with the great inventory. You have to have the correct tools in the toolbox to go and get events like this, and we do. You look at the nature and the birding, the arts and the culture, and Legoland Florida and Bach Tower and Fancy Flight. When you bring all that together, there's not a better place that you can go, and our central location to some of the other destinations. So we sold what we were, Central Florida, and we are reaping the benefits of it now. Not just the event in October, but now the entire world is looking at us for other events.
88 countries.
Yes, sir.
Unbelievable. Well, it's kind of a nice little transition that we actually won't transition into, and that is the Olympics. And of the two, digressing just a little bit, the Winter Olympics are my favorite. And I guess because, I was a ski jumper and also a freestyle snow skier. So I watch it with interest. And the kids going, oh, I remember those days, da-da-da-da-da-da. But, like ski jumping, women this year, which I think is a great thing, they've added women's ski jumping for the very first time in history to the Olympics. And that's been around for a little bit. But they're competing on what's called a normal hill, okay, and that's usually 70 to 90 meters. And you can figure it out in feet how far they're going to be going. But it's really, really fascinating to put an event like the IPSC World Shoot, which is on par with the Olympics, only the Olympics has many sports, because this is the Super Bowl of shooting sports.
Absolutely, and you alluded to it earlier when we were talking about the Board of County Commissioners, and even have to include County Manager Jim Freeman in that, the fact that they were on board with us going over there to go after this type of event, because it really takes a whole community to put something on of this magnitude, and it's going to be a little mini Olympics going on here in Polk County. So it's really going to take a lot of people. You're going to be seeing more information about the need for volunteers. We're working with the group to get that done. So it's fantastic, and moving forward, it's great to be in Polk County because we also host state championships. We talked about it earlier. We saw some video there of the boys wrestling finals. Those will be February 14th and 15th. But another event, talking about the volunteerism, what it takes to put on events like this, they don't just happen. And so when we're talking each time on Sports Central about these events, it takes a lot of people to go out, recruit them, and then to actually execute the event once it comes to Polk County to make sure more events come in, because if these events don't go well, they don't come back. So just a great opportunity for us.
Well, Neil, we were talking about how competitive recruiting events is. I mean, this stuff just doesn't show up on Polk County's doorstep.
No.
And what was the number this year that you guys were involved in recruiting? Was it 216, I believe? And you look at that as, I think the number was somewhere around $134 million in economic impact, and that's just phenomenal.
Well,
Creates jobs, it pumps new money into the community. Thing is, this commission, they're business minded, they get it, they understand that. And I said, hey, it just makes it all better off, the citizens, the businesses in Polk County.
You look at a business, what's the number one rule? Location. Our location is fantastic, and the ability to bring these events in is great. And our central location also helps us to recruit events like the boys and girls state basketball finals, but also the RustMat Central Florida Collegiate Invitational. Our weather has a little bit to do with that as well, because a lot of these teams are coming from the Northeast. In those northern states, and they've been hit hard up there this year during the winter. So that's coming back to us here in Polk County Friday, February 21st through Sunday, April 20th. Over 200 collegiate baseball teams. We also have collegiate softball coming in this year. We got lacrosse. So we really are becoming a spring training destination, not to mention 78th year of the Detroit Tigers right here in Polk County. So a lot of great spring training going on.
Bright future for Polk County.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, Neil, we have a few people to thank. I mean, it just, sporting events couldn't be done without organizations, companies giving back to the community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Tempo Vacation Homes, Hampton Inn, Lakeside Village, Hollywood, Window Tinting and Signs, Holiday Inn Winter Haven, and People's Barbecue. Just some of the partners made this show possible.
Very good. Well, we had an exciting show, everybody, and we certainly hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to see this more, or if you'd like to invite your friends or family members to check us out again, you can do that because we air every single day. Check out the following dates and times for re-airs of this show. However, our next live show will be coming at you again on February 21st. Check it out. Well, this is Mark Jackson for Neil Duncan and the rest of the PGTV staff. We bid you adieu, and thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time.